Hello everybody, my name is Neil Bakiv and I'm your IELTS instructor from New Zealand. Today we'll be focusing on IELTS Book 19, Test 2, Writing Task 2. Let's read the following essay topic. The working week should be shorter and workers should have longer weekend. Do you agree or disagree? Alright, so here is my introduction. The discussion around the benefits of a shorter working week and an extended weekend has gained considerable attention lately. Okay, so here the key words are the benefits of a shorter working week, right? So here we have the modal verb should, which means that it's a good thing. And that's why we're talking about the benefits of this scenario. Okay, next, extended weekend. That basically means longer weekend. As you can see, I have paraphrased this topic prompt and I have been able to find synonyms. I don't want to repeat the same words, I want to paraphrase them. Let's look at the next sentence. The potential implementation of this change could profoundly enhance the well-being and productivity of individuals and organizations alike. Okay, so here that's my essay plan. That's what I'm going to write in body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Now let's focus on body paragraph 1. To begin with, a longer weekend would lead to greater life satisfaction and a more balanced work-life ratio for employees. So in order to start your first sentence in the paragraph, in this body paragraph, okay, start with to begin with. Okay, and remember the phrase to begin with sounds a lot better than to start with. And here I'm using complex grammar, I'm using a comparative form, long, longer, and then would lead to, not will, but would lead to. So I'm using the second conditional here. And I'm focusing on certain benefits here. Next, compared to the traditional 5-day work schedule, where personal time is limited to weekends, an additional day off would allow employees to engage in activities such as hobbies, family gatherings, and relaxation. Before, I mentioned a more balanced work-life ratio, and here I explain it in detail and I compare the first scenario with the second scenario. Therefore, I say compared to the traditional 5-day work schedule. Okay, and here an additional day off. I'm talking about the second scenario, and again, would, not will. And here I'm talking about very specific activities such as hobbies, family gatherings, and relaxation. Next, this extra day would help employees feel less rushed and more fulfilled in their personal lives, which is often challenging during a standard work week. So it's my argument. Okay, I need to support my main idea by providing a very good and beautiful statement, and that's exactly what I've done. Next, for instance, while a typical 5-day work week may leave employees feeling drained by Friday, a shorter work week would enable them to approach each week feeling more refreshed and motivated. Again, here I'm talking about the same idea and I provide one specific example. So you can write for instance or for example. And when you compare and contrast, use this word while. Now let's look at body paragraph 2. Furthermore, increasing leisure time could have a remarkable impact on employees' mental and physical health. So because I have one more idea, I can use the word furthermore, which is a great linking device. And here you should write only could, not can. All right? Because it's a hypothetical situation. All right. So here again, I'm talking about extra benefits. Okay, I'm talking about a positive impact or a remarkable impact on employees' mental and physical health. Next, compared to employees with limited time for self-care in a 5-day work week, those with a 3-day weekend would be able to engage in health promoting activities such as exercise, meditation, or simply unwinding. Okay, again here I'm comparing this scenario. I'm comparing two scenarios here, and you can do it by using the phrase compared to. And here you need to be more specific. You need to provide different kinds of activities. Next, in fact, studies indicate that workers in shorter work weeks report lower stress levels and fewer cases of burnout than those working traditional hours. So when you want to provide one specific fact, you want to use the phrase in fact. Okay. All right. And again, that's my supporting argument. Okay. So this argument helps me to reinforce my main idea. And here is our last paragraph, which is called the conclusion paragraph. Now let's just focus on this one. Reiterating the arguments presented, I firmly believe that a shorter working week with a longer weekend could bring about substantial benefits in comparison to the traditional work structure. The phrase reiterating the arguments presented basically means focusing on all the arguments presented, summarizing them all. And here, I firmly believe that. It basically means I strongly believe that. It sounds a lot better than just writing I think that. Okay, so try to remember the structure. I firmly believe that. All right, next, a shorter work week can foster a more motivated and healthier workforce, leading to higher levels of productivity and a more positive work environment. So you need to mention all the points indicated in the previous paragraphs. And that's exactly what we've done here in our conclusion. Hopefully, you have understood and learned how to write this kind of essay. Good luck to all of you.